I say some people are so poor, all they have is money. You can still have money but still be poor.
Because it's a mindset.
Mindset. I know a lot of guys with money, but they're very poor.
I've read somewhere that successful CEOs read 52 books a year, which works out to one book a week.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
24 hours is 1,440 minutes. That's where we should start from. People say they don't have time. I said, no, you don't want to make time. 1,440 minutes, it's a lot of time. All you have to do, remember, Momp, you cannot manage time. You can only manage activities in an allocated amount of time. So if you are intentional about it, you're going to do it.
This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We enthuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond. Hello, dear viewer and listener. It's your host of this wonderful program, Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We've been doing this now, me and you, for 6 years. It's always a thrill, a privilege, and an honor to bring yet another business guru, to bring another, life changer, impactful individual, somebody who's making waves in his space. And I've known Billy for decades now. I was a member of an organization then called NSASA, National Speakers Association of Southern Africa. Now it's called Professional Speakers Association of Southern Africa. He is a former president, and he's very passionate about speaking. He's passionate about entrepreneurship. He's passionate about generational wealth and intergenerational wealth. So he's a man of great passion. You'll find out for yourself in a minute. I'll bring him in. He'll introduce himself in greater detail. But for now, expect to be wowed. Expect to be enthused and energized. Let me also take this moment to promote my book, Momp Nuggets of Grit. It's available from Exclusive Books for only 350 pula, guys. Not much. You can also get it from first floor in our building, Mogobe Plaza. Come through. My executive assistant will assist you to get one. And the book is impactful as well. I share my story, how I started in the cattle post, how I struggled as a lawyer, how I built the little modest enterprise that we built, that we still believe we're just getting started with. But having said all that, welcome to the studio, Billy Selekane.
Hey, thank you, my brother. What an amazing introduction. You do not have a modest enterprise. You've got an amazing enterprise.
Thank you very much.
And I've been there and I've observed it and I've seen it grow from strength to strength. And before we were live, I said, you need to mentor me around this property thing because you got it locked up.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Some people don't know, as unbelievable as it might seem, don't know who Billy Selekane is. Just share a little introduction for us.
Before I share a little introduction, I must just share with you the intentionality of me not being so much in the public space. And I tell people, I'm not what I do. What I do is it's my work, and then there's a human being, So I do a lot of work in the corporate space, not necessarily in the public space. So therefore, a lot of people that are out there in the public would not necessarily know me, but those that work for corporations that I've done work for or work with, they know me, they've seen me, and yes. So that's the intentionality. I just made it intentional not to be too much in the public space, because even though my work is very public, I'm quite a private person. I enjoy my quietness and my peace.
Should I go back to your academics and to your history that way back?
The academics, but
yeah.
Go through it anyway.
Yeah, just touch on that.
Well, I always say to people, I've got no academic story to talk about except now of late, because I had a very interesting academic life. So I got an S in metric, and S in metric simply means school leaving. It means you've got no future. You can go and drive a taxi and do all kind of things, but as far as education goes, stay away from it. And that sort of became a defining moment for me. Because I said to myself, am I going to allow these people to define who I am, or can I rewrite my story? And the answer was, I can never allow anybody to determine what my story is. I have to rewrite my story. So I then started having this insatiable hunger for knowledge. I'm one of those people that read thousands and thousands of books. And those books were able to open my mind and create new neurological pathways in my brain that allowed me to see what other people couldn't see. able to take very complex things and simplify them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what got me to where I am now, the ability to take complexity and simplify it and make it practical to people that are struggling to understand such complexities.
How did you do? Did you just spend the whole day in the library? Or how did
Actually,
you go
my
about
first visit of the library, I went to the library because somebody, I was completely depressed and I thought my life was coming to an end. But then I remember this quote, which I now sort of disagree with, that says knowledge is power. I say, no, knowledge is not power. The application of knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people know, but very few people do.
Yes.
So
yes.
2 books that took me through an amazing transformation was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Wow,
and
that's
The
a
Power of
classic.
Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. So those are the 2 books that literally made me see things I couldn't see about myself and believe things that when I told people then, people thought that they were impossible things to achieve. And through then going through many mentors and working with many other people, I was able to extend my knowledge and up to the level where I am today. And by the way, I am still an avid reader, and I still spend a lot of time, a lot of money going through mentorships and coaching programs and attending seminars and learning from other men and women who have walked the path of life earlier than me.
I've read somewhere that successful CEOs read 52 books a year, which works out to 1 book a week. How do you do it?
24 hours is 1,440 minutes. That's where we should start from. People say they don't have time. I said, no, you don't want to make time. 1,440 minutes, it's a lot of time. All you have to do, remember, Momp, you cannot manage time. You can only manage activities in an allocated amount of time. So if you are intentional about it, you're going to do it. Sleep 2 hours less, then you've got 2 hours available.
Yeah.
Don't drive unnecessarily. I'm one of those people. I drove myself here. I don't drive most of the time. I've got a very nice guy driving me because I want to maximize as much time as I can.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So it's now let's talk about speaking.
Yes.
Because you are a speaker.
Yes.
Some people, when you say I'm a speaker and I speak, they say, what? What do you do?
Actually, a lot of people back in the day when I started, you must remember, I started when there were no black speakers. Literally, it was a white terrain. So a lot of people say, so what do you do? I said, no, I'm a speaker. They say, yeah, I know, we hear you're a speaker. But what do you do at work? And I said, that's my job. And guy says, what do you do, really? So yes, I speak in conferences, I speak inside organizations, and I get invited in all kind of places. I speak in churches and non-governmental organizations. Yeah, that's what I do. And my speaking actually was not intentional. It was speaking called me in. I didn't go look for speaking. I had my own plan. I was born with the gift of art. I wanted to become an artist. Actually, the artist that inspired me was a Spanish artist called Salvador Dali. Now, Salvador Dali was the only artist that said, I don't want to make money while I'm dead. They used to call him the dollar darling. He said, I want to make money now as an artist. Yeah. So I was inspired. I wanted to become the Salvador Dali of Africa, literally. But then in 1989, me and some friends of mine who had a business, and I got invited to a seminar. I did not know what a seminar was, but all I knew, there would be good food. If everything goes bad, but there'll be food. So I went to this seminar, and then there was a motivational speaker, Dr. David Mulapo. And I had an out-of-body experience. I literally became him and he became me. So I literally was on stage, and it was a crazy moment. And I thought, oh my God, this is crazy. And at that time, at that moment, I knew that this is what my life was going to be about. But it took me 10 years to bring it to life. Because in the 10 years, I was filled with doubt, with fear, with disbelief, with people telling me I'm not good enough. I don't have the education. I don't have the connection. I don't come from a good family. So everything that is conceivably wrong, that should not give me the ability to stand on stage, was in front of me. Some of it was reality, but some of it was what people were saying to me. And it's fascinating that when people tell you a particular lie and they tell it consistently, it ends up being a truth. So I sort of lived a lie that became my truth, because when I looked around me, there was no evidence that what I was talking about was actually going to happen. Until at some point in time, I had my own moment of truth. We all have to have a moment of truth, a time when you are faced with...
That would be 99, 10 years from 89.
Yes, 10 years. So, but here, now it's kind of crazy. So from 89 to 99, the journey went, and then eventually guys said to me, listen, man, this motivational thing of yours is Americans, not just get a job like anybody else. And I had a job. I got a job, you know. But when I was working, I always believed that whatever responsibility you are given, no matter how small, you must show up wholeheartedly or don't show up at all. So I started at the bottom of this business, of this company. And when I left, I was almost at the top. In 5 years, I worked for 5 years. And I gave my heart and soul. But as harder I worked, the more this thing kept following me, kept saying, hey, you're going to leave, you're going to leave.
This urge to speak.
This urge to speak. And actually, I started speaking sort of semi-professional within that time, you know? And I would sneak out and go and speak, sneak out and do this kind of things. And a lot of people say, oh, you're good, you know? And one day, you know, Mom, it's a crazy, I said, I'm going to quit my job and do this as a business. I didn't have a plan, I didn't have a strategy, I had nothing. But I had the hunger, and I was exhausted by what's been taken away from me at my work and me not getting the value in return. So I said, you know, I'm going to go and do this thing. And if I fail, at least I've tried something that I believed in. And if I fail, it's a good story to tell. So 1998, 99, I quit. I literally quit, and I started my business.
Wow, this is exciting. And the name of the company, Billy Selekane International.
Yes.
Was that intentional from the beginning to go international? Or
actually, it morphed. The first business was registered was BC Power Zone Development, Billy Selekane Power Zone Development. Because my concept then was a lot of people are in their comfort zone, and my responsibility was to shift them from their comfort zone into the power zone. So that was the name of the business initially. And I went into a partnership with a company called the Win-Win Group, because at that time I did not have the credibility. I had nothing to prove that I could do this thing. So I needed to find some credibility partners. So I partnered with the Win-Win Group. They owned 40% of my company. I owned 60% of my company, which was nothing. which was just company there and no money. And
yeah.
And they gave me an office and they gave me a computer. And by the way, I did not even know how computer works. You know, so it was kind of a comedy of error. And from them, I can tell you now, I could not have been half the man I am now without those guys. The first guy who really took me on was the CEO of that business. His name was Steve Carver. Now, let me tell you how I met this guy. This is fascinating. So, I've decided I'm quitting my job. I'm starting this business. I go to CIPC in Pretoria by myself. I register this business. And now I've got papers, blah, blah, blah. I'm okay. Now I'm thinking, okay, but who am I? You know, who am I going to tell people I am and what I do? So I was driving around and I saw this big billboard, the Win-Win Group, and it says theater, HRDQ, training, workplace training, and I'm thinking, these are my guys. And I drove into that parking, walked into the reception, and the reception was a black lady, of course. And I said, hi, how are you? Fine. And I said to this lady, so who's the CEO of this company? And this lady says, no, the CEO is Steve Carver. And I said, can I see him? This lady says, but you did not know who he was. And now you want to see him. How does this thing work? So as soon as she says that, Steve Carver walks out of a bathroom. He picks up his phone and says, Steve Carver speaking. And the call becomes very short. As soon as he drops the call, I go towards him. And I say to him, hi, my name is Billy Selekane. And I reach out and he grabs my hands. And I say, I'm going to be the top motivational speaker in the continent. And you're going to help me to do that. And he looks at me and says, good, fine. I'm leaving now. I'll see you in 2 weeks here. That's it. And I got into my car and I left. 2 weeks time I was back. And that's how the relationship started. Wow. You know, and man, they taught me amazing things. I mean, these guys, they had a library that had videos from, over 5,000 videos, books. So I literally used to leave their office around 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning, reading and learning from them. Yeah.
This is incredible. Do you still remember your first gig?
My first gig. Let's say my first paying gig, not just my first.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece. So here's what happened, Mom. Me and my friends will go swimming. It's a Sunday. We're swimming somewhere, and somebody says, hey, they've got a braai. So after a swimmer, we go to this lady's apartment. There's a braai. And then this lady says, hey, by the way, I work for Eskom, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, Eskom? I'm thinking, I must talk to this lady. And then she says, we're planning a conference, a HR conference with my team, what. And I said to her, hey, you know what? I'm a motivational speaker, you know? She says, really? I said, yes. And she says, okay, that's cool. So I said to her, so I hear you talking about this conference. When is it happening? She says, no. She tells me the date, blah, blah, blah. And she says to me, you must send me a quotation. I say, cool. Now, I don't have anything. I've got no papers, no nothing. I'm thinking, my doctor. I go to my doctor, say, listen, I need you to create me a logo quickly. I want you to create an invoice. I want us to fax the invoice to Eskom. And Mom, it was back in the day. I think it was like back in the day. And I charged this lady 2,500 for an hour. And she phones me and says, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? People get paid this amount of money in a week when I want it now." I said, "Of course, I'm a speaker." You know, this fake it till you make it thing.
Yeah.
She says, "Okay." They then sign, they give us a PO, purchase order, and they agree to pay me this money. Now I must prepare for this speech. I prepare. The day of the speech, I go to ESCOM. ESCOM has got a massive learning development center, which is very deceptive. How can you go to a reception and there's just many doors? So you can never know the size of the room unless you've been, you know. So I get there and I tell this lady, "Hi, I'm Billy Selekane. I'm coming to speak at this conference." She says, "No, you see that door?" I say, "Yes." She says, "That's where you're going." Me and my speech is 5 pieces of paper. I open this door. Mom, it's an auditorium. There's about over 300 people. I close this door, I look for a toilet, and there's a toilet. I rush into the toilet. When I get into the toilet, I don't know if this has happened to you. When you are afraid or you're in fear, you start breaking cold sweat. Your heart literally goes to your throat. You can't speak. You think, "I'm going to die." So I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my God, I'm going to die." This lady, I'm thinking, she said about 35 people. And in my head, if I mess it up in front of 35 people, so what? It's going to be my weight against their weight. You know,
Yeah.
But over 300 people, I'm like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the toilet, I'm thinking, oh my God. So I'm thinking, if I go and mess it up, that's the end of me. But if I don't go, I'm never going to know what could have happened. So I was like, I'm going to take Krachi and I'm going to go. Now, when you're in trouble, time doesn't move.
Yeah.
From the toilet to that door, it's almost like it's a year.
Yeah.
There's a seat with my name, you know, in the front. I go in and I sit, and the person who's speaking is a professor of some sort. He's using those old projectors, or transparencies.
Yeah.
He speaks and he finishes, and they clap hands for him, like, you know, okay, not too hectic. And then this lady is the MC of this event. And then she says something that really kills me. And she says, "Ladies and gentlemen, our closing speaker is Billy Selekane. He says he's a motivational speaker." Let's hear what he's going to say. So from the chair to the podium, another year. It's like I've been walking for a year. Now, I can never forget this. I'm supposed to speak for an hour. I get there, take off my wash, and I start speaking, you know. Yeah, some reception, yeah. And then I get lost into this thing. Like I go deep. And when I'm done, it's 1 hour and 22 minutes. I've been over 22 minutes. And I say, I finish. And I take my papers, I fold them, I take my watch. And in my head, I'm now saying, yeah, this is it, Billy Selekane. This is the end of your life.
Yeah.
These people are going to go tell people how bad a speaker you are. As I get off the stage, this room erupts in a standing ovation. I mean, it's like, oh, are you kidding me? Mom, for 10 minutes, they stood up clapping. I had to come on stage and acknowledge
you had to take a bow.
You know what, take a bow. And when we're done, I rushed quickly back to the toilet and I started crying. And I was crying out of joy and victory that, you know what, this is it. If God wanted me to do this, this is the confirmation. And that one keynote is the keynote that became the keynote of all keynotes. You know.
Wow, this is such a brilliant story. I mean, I've known you for decades, but I've never known this.
Yeah.
How did you end up with the National Speakers Association of Southern Africa?
So now there's a guy called Frank Furness. Frank Furness is a South African guy who lives in the UK, Spain, and the US. He's one of the greatest exports that this country has had as far as speaking is concerned. So I had an agent, and my agent was Stuart Lee, you know, one of the top agents in the country. So when Frank came to South Africa, he would run boot camps, you know. And one day Stuart Lee says, "Hey, Frank is in town." I'm thinking, who's Frank? He tells me who Frank is. He says, "This man is running a boot camp. It's quite pricey, but I promise you it's going to be the best money that you've spent." I think at that time it was 9,900. I'm talking about the early 90s. Yeah, the early 2000s.
The early 2000s.
The early 2000s. 9,000, it's a lot of money.
It still is today.
And I find it funny that people don't want to pay today while I paid that time.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, I don't have the money, but I can pull some few moves. I pull a few moves, I'm able to get the money and I pay. They give me a bank account and I pay, and I go to this 2-day boot camp. Unbelievable. So I'm the only black guy there. There's about 12 of us, 11 white guys, and I think few white women, I can't remember. And I'm the only black guy there. And it's a 2-day intensive boot camp. And I walk out of there, I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing, man. I'm really going to do this very well. A few days after that, Frank sends me an email. He says, hey, because we had to all deliver our 5 minutes keynotes and blah, blah, blah for him to help us.
It's part of the training.
Yeah. He says to me, you amazing, you're going to go places. But you've got to understand you must invest in yourself. And for the fact that you came to that boot camp, that shows how determined you are. So there's a conference in the UK. I'm going to send you the details. He sends me the details of this conference of the Professional Association of Speakers Association of the UK. It's quite pricey. I must go to London. I must, I'm thinking, I'm going to do it because I want to invest in myself.
Yes.
I don't have the degree, the diploma, so I've got to learn this craft as much as I can. So I pay up and I go to the UK. Lo and behold, there's a delegation from South Africa, 10 guys from South Africa who went to this thing, who've been trying to start this association. When they get there, they meet me, they think, oh, this guy, we remember him, whatever. Now, Steph, who was the founding father, people had been telling him about me, and I've been told about him. So you've got to meet Steph, and they would say, Steph, you've got to meet Billy. So for a long time, and now we meet in London. And the first day we meet, we shake hands, we hug as if we've known each other. So we attend the conference, and they say, when we come back to South Africa, we're going to have a formal meeting. Do you want to come and join? So when we come back, it's 2004. Already, it was informal at that time, not really formal. So then I attended the first meeting in 2004 to formalize it.
Yes.
At that time, Steph was the founding president. And then I joined as a member. And then 2005 and 6, Paul Dutour became the second president. And I became the third president in 2006 and 2007. And by the way, in 2005, we then went to Singapore, a group of us, because it was a launch of what was then called International Federation of Professional Speakers. Today's called Global Speakers Federation. So we were at the first inception of this Global Speakers Federation. So that's my journey with PSA from that end on. Then I started attending America, all over the world. Then I started being invited to speak at a lot of these international...
And you call it PSA now. What happened?
Yeah, professional. Well, national, because the Americans were called National Speakers Association. So we felt, and we also wanted to emphasize the word professional. Because remember, there are two speaking bodies. There's Toastmasters, which is amateur. But we wanted to let people know that when you join the PSA, we are in the business of speaking. It's about learning the business, improving your business. It's a professional environment.
Yeah.
That's what it is,
Wow. Now, I want to ask you about your biggest challenges, but before I do, is there any particular successes you remember from your presidency?
Yes,
actually, the Professional Speakers Association.
Yes, I increased the membership by 22%. I launched an award, which is now one of the biggest awards that we have. It's called the Steph Duplessis Founders Award. So it's named after Steph, who's a founder member. So I'm the guy that launched it in my presidency.
Yes.
And well, I traveled to...
What's the objective of the award?
Is to honor... So in America, the guy who founded the NSA in America is a guy called Covered Robert. They've got an award called the Covered Robert Award.
Yes.
So the Covered Robert Award is an award that honors somebody who's a true professional, not only a true professional, but somebody who takes time to help other speakers and who the speaking industry sees as a positive force, not only to speaking, but to businesses, to society, to other things that they do.
Okay.
So it's actually the highest honor that you could get as a speaker, because your peers have to sort of vote for you to say you truly are a positive symbol for the industry.
Wonderful, wonderful. What did you say are some of the toughest challenges or setbacks that you've encountered in this speaking journey?
Mom, it's unfortunate what I'm about to say, but it is what it is. As a black person, at that time when I started, when it was seen to be a white domain, it was quite difficult, However, I was intentional from day one when I started getting to become a professional speaker. And I had a choice. There used to be a book that used to be published that used to show team building speakers, and it used to be sent to companies, And my agent said, you've got to get into this book, you've got to get into this book. So one day, I was sitting home, and I'm a great James Bond aficionado. I love James Bond. And I looked at James Bond and said, okay, the car of choice is Aston Martin. And I asked myself, have I ever seen an Aston Martin advert? Have you ever seen it?
No.
Because you can't afford it, but you can afford it, by the way. So I had a choice. Do I become a BMW 3 Series, easily available, and then I compete with price with everybody? Or do I become an Aston Martin, pitch myself at a particular price, and only people that can afford to work with me. So I pitched myself as an Aston Martin, not a BMW 3 Series. Now it's a double-edged sword. It's got intrigue, like people saying, who's this guy? And the expectations are much higher. Because people says, if we pay you this much, or we won't pay that guy that much, you better be good. So because I chose to do that, I then intentionally and consciously spend a lot of my time and energy and investment in becoming good at the game. Because
I hear you.
And that was intentional for me. And I can tell you, Mom, actually, when we had the conference in the convention the past week, we had a thing called Meet the Maestro. So we'd go from table to table sharing. And people would ask me, so tell us about marketing. I was like, don't ask me about marketing. I am bad at marketing. Every time I spend money on marketing, I lose. My intention was I needed to be so good as a speaker that when I'm on stage, the people in the audience become my salespeople. Because when people sell you with word of mouth, it's very powerful. And for over 20 years, my business has been 100% referral. People refer me.
Wow. Meaning you've never put an advert?
Listen to me. Each time I try and do that, I lose the money. It's hands down. It goes away. I mean, there was a company in South Africa that used to own the TV screens at the airport. I spent, I think, 250,000. And I was putting all the screens at the airport. But here's the thing. You don't advertise a speaker by putting his picture there and putting just name and whatever. People want to hear you speak.
Yeah.
So, man, when it comes to marketing, I lost money. I just...
Even in this age of social media, you haven't adapted to that?
I haven't. It's a funny thing. I haven't. It's kind of funny. I have a massive social media following. So my digital team now, because we are magicians when it comes to AI. So we do a lot of AI work. So their task now is to create an algorithm and bots, AI bots that will monetize everything that I've ever done. So we're not going to be doing marketing in the traditional sense of the way. We're going to be doing what we call social selling, using social platforms to sell content and multi-use the content that I have.
Wow.
So we're not going to call it like marketing. We're very intentional about it. We want to sell the content.
So if I understand you correctly, the biggest challenge for you has been marketing yourself.
Oh my God, yeah.
Do you understand you correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's yes, it's been but it's been every time I spend money I lost. But I'm not very keen on marketing traditionally in the way that people, I don't want to be famous. I
because you already are, if I may say so myself.
I prefer being wealthy than being famous.
It can be both.
Well, like I said, my work is public, but I'm quite a private person. So I always want to maintain my privacy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say are your biggest triumphs? Those moments when you said, look, this is now God saying, well done, my good and faithful servant.
So the company that I used to work for, when I resigned, they were undergoing a merger. It was an M&A, merger and acquisition. And I resigned after the last conference. They took 4 years after, through the merger and whatever. And the first conference they had, I was the main speaker. So just think about this. You were working with these guys and they just thought, you're one of them, blah, blah, blah. And 4 years after, you show up as the main speaker. You're getting paid for a keynote what you've been paid for a year. It was the coolest thing ever. And I showed up there with my BMW 528 Motorsport. I'm the man. And when we're having dinner, I'm sitting at the executive table with the CEO, sales director. That moment was one of the pivotal moments in my career, because all the things that I'd said I would do to this group of guys, they said, this guy just talks, he's not going to do this. And they couldn't believe it. They just said, oh my God, you can't believe this guy. 4 years, his life has turned around 360. So that was one of the
He gets paid for an hour, what we get paid for a whole year.
Yeah, literally.
This is good.
So it was just one of those unbelievable moments. And it was when I knew I'm a GK, I'm God's kid,
You are really God's kid.
But another one, Mom, it's so this is so funny. So there was a time back in the day I used to charge 25,000 for a keynote. So I get a call from the US. My PA says, hey, there's a lady here, and she says she's calling from New York. I said, okay. Pick up the phone. Hi, how are you? She works for this organization. They've got this conference, blah, blah, blah. They've heard about me and they'd like me to come and speak. So, they're going to send me a brief and they're going to send me their contract. I must send them our contract and blah, blah, blah. So I forget as this conversation goes that I'm speaking to an American person. So she says, by the way, what's your fee? I say, my fee is 25,000. She says, it's not a problem. It's we do this
Is
thing, we
that
do this
US
thing.
or Pula?
So remember, I'm in South Africa.
Yeah.
Now we've been having such a deep conversation. I forgot I'm speaking to an American person.
Yeah.
So when they say how much is my fee, I say 25,000. But I don't specify rands or dollars. But she's American. She thinks $25,000. She says no big. No, that's not an issue. We'll make it happen. And I go to this conference and I speak amazing and I get paid $25,000. The craziest amount of money at that time that I've ever earned for an hour. At that time you'd multiply it by 15 and a half or something. Yeah. For an hour. So one day we're in the US with other top speakers. I will not mention names. A year after that conference, a year after that. So we're talking whatever. So one of the things that people are very sensitive about in this industry is not to talk about fees. But in that room, we were all matured, blah, 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 and they started talking about fees. Now, I will not mention the name of this, but he's one of the top speakers in the world. At that time, he was charging $12,500. And I was paid $25,000. So when it came to me, so he says, man, you did that gig in New York. I said, yes. He says, I would have killed to do that gig. So how much do they pay you? So I'm laughing. I'm thinking, oh my God, if I tell these guys, this is going to be like a mess. Yeah. So I laugh. He says, come on, like we're buddies here. I said, well, they pay me $25,000. He became pale in his face. He says, how did you pull that? And I said, no, I told him the story. I just said 25,000. She agreed and that was it. So it was one of those good, funny moments. Which were like crazy, but it was a good feeling. Yeah, it was just.
You have spoken in many stages across the world. Yeah. Is there a particular keynote that you love to share that has the biggest impact? And if so, can you share sort of like the key snippets from that keynote?
So I think we must go back and then question that when I started, which was my keynote. But remember, I'm a guy who's got no metric, who's got no diploma, who's got nothing. So I'm not going to talk about some science or some engineering or some sophisticated thing. It was my story. My first keynote, which I did for a long time, I did it over 3,000 times, was my story. We call it signature story. It was from barefoot to snakeskin shoes.
Which I read in a book. I've got your book.
You got my book, yeah. So that has been the keynote of keynotes, literally. And like I'm saying, I've done it over 3,000 times. And I remember at some point
I think there's a point where you take off your shoes in that keynote.
Yes.
We were quite shocked when we see you take off your shoes.
Yes. So at 1 year, I was in the US and we were attending this convention in the US. And at that time, there was this move. America always has things that come and just take over. And at that time, the thing was content, high content. They used to say, oh, guys, you motivational speakers, you're going to go out of business. Clients want high content that really gives people the how-to. This thing of stories doesn't happen. Let me tell you, Mom, my flight from the US to South Africa, so I flew via Dubai, whatever, I got really depressed. Because I thought to myself, I'm out of business. I've got no real tangible content to talk about. And these guys are saying the motivational speaking is dying because content is now taking over. I got home. I told my PA, listen, I'm not going to come in for 2 days. Just move everything 2 days, whatever. And that 2 days, I'm telling you, I was like really depressed. And on day 2, around lunchtime, she called and says, hey, you have to come in. Because I say, why? She says, you've just been booked to do 18 keynotes by one client, like a road show. I said, oh, God, really? Which one do they want? They said, no, they want your keynote from barefoot to snakeskin shoes. So I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing. Then I've learned this one fundamental truth. Listen to the people who pay you. Listen to those
Don't listen to the so-called experts.
Yes, who don't pay you, who don't book you. Listen to the people who book you. So for me, that has been the biggest keynote. And that is just my story, Mom. And from then, I've grown into culture, into leadership and other things. However, I've been talking to a friend of mine and I'm saying South Africa's got 60 million people, SADC's got 500-something million people, Africa's got 1.2 billion people. And I've been saying to myself, how many people have had that keynote?
Yeah, just a handful still.
Just a handful. So one of the things that I'm really sort of milling around is to rework the keynote, make it, because then I was not as good as I am now. Or let me say good as I am now. Now I'm a little better than I was then.
Yeah, well, you're more experienced now.
More experienced. And I'm thinking I should revisit it and rebuild it and take it back. And I think I've got another 100,000 keynotes.
Did you shelve it for a little while?
Yes, I did. And it's because you grow and you get into other areas. And I went into the culture space, into the leadership space. And so yeah, and I'm thinking, actually each time I think about it, it's very nostalgic and it's very deep because it's my truth, it's my life and it's my story, you know, and there is no other keynote.
What do you think is the biggest hook in that keynote? What do you think is
it's the authenticity of the story.
Or the biggest applause point, if you know what I mean?
It's for everybody in the audience to know that they also can shift from where they are to a place where they want to go, that obstacles only exist in our minds. They don't really exist. That there are no limitations. We limit ourselves. That a guy like me who all the odds was against was able to break away from that and redefine himself and really achieve what he has achieved in a very modest way. And I think that gives people this thing I call the Me Too moment. They sit there and they think, you know what? I can do this.
Wow.
Whatever. I want to be a golf player. I want to be whatever they want to be, whatever they want to manifest. When they hear my story and its truth and its authenticity, it gives them permission to be, that they also can be.
Yeah. Let's talk about money. Why should we talk about money? Because as much as we're told that the root of, money is love of money is the root of all evil. Money seems to permeate everything.
The lack of money is the root of all evil.
I like that. We hear that, but it also affects everything that is important.
Yeah.
Whether it's love, whether it's work, health. Money affects everything that is important. Now, when it comes to speaking, how should people position themselves in such a way that they get the money, but they also deliver?
Mom, it goes back to two questions. Why this speaker and why this topic? I call that the integrity question. Many people come to me, I want to speak. I say, what do you want to speak about? I had a guy who says, no, I want to speak. I can speak. I'm very good. In my church, they said I'm very good. I said, very good. I said, what do you speak about? He said, wealth. And I said, are you wealthy? He said, no, but you see, Mr. Siligan, I've read Kobe Kiyosaki. I said, no, my man, you can't do that. You can't be on stage and talk about what you are not. You're not wealthy. Be wealthy first, and then you'll share with people how you build your wealth. But you can't just want to talk about it unless you've done it in a different way. Unless you say, I'm going to share with you the data that I have by interviewing 30 multimillionaires. And each one of them told me 3 things that are very important. And I'm going to share with you these 3 things. Then we can talk about it. But you can't fake it and say, I'm going to talk about wealth because I've read this book and that book. It's not true. You shouldn't do that. Don't do it. So, and by the way, if you want to get into speaking because you want to be famous or want to make money, go and sell drugs. You make money quicker and probably be famous. For most of us, we live by this mantra that says, the privilege of the platform. It is a privilege for me to stand in front of people and speak. I don't have the right to do that. It's a privilege. And I can never take that privilege for granted. So, we all have beautiful and wonderful stories. Some stories are much more catchy than others, whatever. But do this business or get onto stage because whatever you're going to teach, it's authentic, number one. It's true. You have not embellished it. And number 2, you're going to tell it in your own authentic and truthful way. Number 3, be willing to be vulnerable and show people that you're not a superman or a superwoman, because there's this thing that when you're on stage, we walk on water, we killed 7 lions, we've climbed Kilimanjaro. No. We are human like anybody else. We go through bad stuff and doubts like everybody else. Sometimes you wake up in the morning, you're not as motivated as you want to be. Something just comes and attacks you. You feel depressed. We go through all these emotions.
Yes.
But we show up because we know that the gift is bigger than your circumstances. So I'm saying to people, don't do this for the wrong reasons.
And yet, you still have to talk about money.
It's business. Let me tell you, this is business for me. And I don't negotiate my fee. Here's my fee. If you can't afford me, thank you very much. It was nice knowing you. Unless you show up to me and say, I've got this percentage of the fee and I can reciprocate by adding value in this fashion, then we can talk.
It's a value exchange.
It has to be value must beget value. It's as simple as that. And sometimes you get, and I'm going to say this, black people tend to think we black people don't need money. They say, oh, Mr. Siligan, we'd like to book you, but you're expensive. And I say, listen, if you're living in a poverty construct, don't use that poverty construct that you're living in into my world. The word expensive in my world does not exist. The word that I use is cannot afford. And therefore you ask yourself the second question, why can I not afford? What should I do to afford? That's a different thinking. But when you use expensive, stay away from me.
Yeah.
It's not negotiable.
Wow. And it's hard for upcoming speakers to have that discipline because they fear that they're chasing away the opportunity.
But again, Mom, you know what? If you know you're a person of value, you don't have to worry. But if you're not a person of value, you will have to worry. Simple as that. I mean, there's Kentucky, there's Petro, there's all kind of chicken places. And new chicken places are opening up. Do you think these other chicken places, they sit in the corner and say, oh, they're going to think I'm more expensive than Nando's? No. They've got their own plan, they've got their own spice, they're going to set up shop, and they're going to go and get the wallet.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
So one should be quite firm about it.
You must be value driven, and that's it. You must, if you go to any place, in the exchange of value, we complain about price. You go to a bad restaurant, what do? If they don't give you good food at time, the food is not warm, you complain. You think, but they're bad. But you go to a place where everything works like a charm. You don't even want to check how much the bill is. You just say put 10%, and you pay.
Yeah. Without
even checking the bill.
Yeah. Now, I know you have a certain special project or a couple of special projects. Would you like to share with our viewers what the special project is and just maybe highlight the key aspects of it?
So, growing up poor, for me, I've always been the guy that asks the question, why? Why can't I afford this? Why I can't do this, whatever. So, when I walked into this path of speaking, I wanted to be good at the art and the science of speaking. So that's what I did. I focused on building myself and understanding the industry and getting to the top of the game. But as my journey progressed, those questions still always linger in my mind, because when you go and see a Lamborghini car passing by, it's a surname. Lamborghini is a surname. When you see Ferrari, it's a surname. Bentley, it's a surname. Aston Martin is a name and surname. Gucci is a surname. And all of those are
Louis Vuitton, Pierre Cardin.
Oh, Pierre, all of them. His name is Pierre Cardin. And I've been saying to myself. And at some point in time, I saw this list of the top 10 designers in the world, clothing designers. There was no black person there. The top 10 car designers, no black person there. The top 10 architects, no black person there. Top. And I'm saying, I said to myself, what is happening here? Then I realized that as Africans, we are not intentional about wealth creation and wealth preservation. And I also studied my own environment where I come from in Tembisa. There were very powerful families when I grew up. I mean, these people became multimillionaires before we even knew what the word millionaire means. But the founders of the business died, and guess what happened? The business died. Big businesses. Then I said to myself, I'm going to take time and understand first the psychology of us black people. Why are we not able to build enduring legacies?
In terms of intergenerational wealth.
Yes, and there are a plethora of reasons, but one of them is we just lack the intentionality about it. We're not intentional about it, And so I came up with a process. First, it was called the Wealth Roadmap, and then I changed it. Now it's called AfriFam Wealth. So this is going to be a platform. It's actually, this platform exists. I'm going into partnership with a company called Wealth Migrate. Now, what this platform is going to do, we're going to teach people governance structures, mindset around wealth. And then we're going to give them a platform where they can now invest, And then we're going to give them access to what super wealthy people have access to. It's a concept called the family office. I don't know if you've heard of this concept.
I have heard of a family office.
Now, people that can afford family offices are people whose wealth is above $100 million most of the time. So what AfriFem Wealth is going to do is going to create an educational platform, not only create an educational platform, but also make available an investment platform. Now you must listen to this one. This is massive. For the first time in the history of the world, we are going to give people an opportunity to start investing in properties anywhere in the world for $10. As I speak now, $10. As I speak now, there's a prime property in New York that is being launched today, where you can start investing at $10. So you are gonna
end up owning one brick, isn't it?
No, you see, everything's about compound interest. Everything's about scalability. You understand? And you see, Mom, it's exactly that. Wealth is not. It's not an explosion. It's a building. It's building blocks. You start building because your mind must understand how investment works before you can see it grow. It's not like Ukenya Gamo and Sagamo. It's going to take time, but you've got to get into places that inspire you and places that you can see you can grow. That investment is going to yield in 3 years. You've got two. You can either buy equity or buy what's called a loan bond. You loan the business money, they bring back your capital with 3.something%, or you buy the equity investment where you put in and your investment yields according to the property growth in New York. So those are two kind of different vehicles. So I'm saying minimum $10.
Yes.
But maximum you can put in $1 million. You can put in $1 million. And what these guys do, Wealth Migrate, they've got access to these amazing deals around the world. So for the first time ever, you can be able to invest like the 1% of the world invest. So that's what this platform is going to be all about. We're going to be launching it in a month or so. We're just working the mechanics. And then we're going to get people to have access to the family office. Because the family office is the one that set up your trust, that set up your diversification, that makes sure there's a governance structure, that makes sure that your wealth can move from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. Like if you look at, the Rockefellers, if you look at the Rothschild, they all have a family office that runs their things. And a lot of our black guys, but some get Range Rover and do this kind of things. When he dies, the money goes. I can guarantee you, most of the Range Rovers that you see running around Gauteng, the Bentleys, whatever, when those guys die,
that's it.
That's it. So we want to change that. And our vision is in the first 5 years, we want to get 1 million families to build those structures. And then it will ripple itself. We've got 1.2 billion people in the continent.
Yes.
But we consume more than we create. Why?
There's no reason.
Because we are not intentional. So that's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be running it in 2 phases. We're going to be running it for people like you established, but also going to start a one for school children, where we teach school children how to invest.
Wow.
If you give 100 rand a day for carry, you must understand how do you split that money. 30% of that must be for investment. Out of the 30%, 10% must be for education. So when you give a child 100 rand, he or she must know that 30 rand doesn't belong to me. I'm going to take it away. 20 rand is for my long-term investment. 10, you understand?
Yeah.
If they can learn at that age, by the time they finish school, they don't need NSFAS to pay for them because they already have built wealth. So that's the project that I'm busy working on now.
So at the heart of this, it's mindset shift.
It is mindset shift. You have to, you have to change. How? I don't know. Somebody's got 7 cars. Where's Angad Gule say 7?
And he's busy just calling himself super rich.
You can only drive 1 car at a time. You can only sleep in 1 bed at a time. You can only wear 1 suit at a time. You can only have 1 lunch at a time.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, we have to, now people are crying, oh, America is taking US aid, all this. I said, good for you. America has to show you Africans to stop being beggars. Because there's more illicit money leaving Africa than aid money coming in. Why does South Africa need aid?
Yeah.
We've got mines, we've got diamond, we've got gold, we've got platinum, we've got all of these things. And then you run around looking for aid. It's a mindset thing.
The wealthiest continent is crying for aid.
Are you kidding me?
It doesn't make
sense. Now you must tell me in the UK, the size of the UK, how big is the UK?
Very tiny.
What natural resources do they have?
Nothing.
It's mindset. We have to change the mindset of an African.
To recognize the reality in front of us.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, the Calvary is not coming. You're on your own. And by the way, I'm going to put this statement, it's controversial, but it's just the truth. Voting ain't going to help you. I'm just telling you now. You can vote until you become blue in the face. It's not going to change your life. Show me a country in this continent where voting has changed people's lives. None. So we're saying to African families, it's time for you to take and grab the bull by its horn because the Calvary is not coming.
So, in other words, political freedom does not guarantee...
Doesn't equate economic freedom.
In fact, it doesn't. It doesn't even come close.
Yeah, and I also believe that democracy is a wrong system because I don't know any successful democratic country in the world except Switzerland.
Well, that's a matter for another debate.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I want you to explain a little bit more how you're going to deliver the content in terms of the knowledge.
Yeah.
How you're going to package it.
We're going to have webinars.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a university, a wealth creation university, which is already being created, is there. It's going to have content. We're going to run live sessions. We're going to do coaching processes. And we're going to set up podcast, all kind of reachable media to make sure that people can access us easily. And we're also going to be, documenting stories of families that have done it, because there are families that have done it very quietly, and we'll be documenting them, and we'll also be documenting those that really messed it up, so that people should know what they shouldn't be doing, because we can't just keep documenting success without documenting failure. Because we learn more from failure than we do from success.
It will be like how I blew it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That program. Okay, so when is it likely to launch, and what?
2 months' time. We're launching in 2 months' time.
And in Botswana, what can we expect?
You're going to be the partner in Botswana.
Okay. All right.
And we'll do a big splash in Botswana. We'll do a nice launch, Grand Palm Hotel, nice gala dinner. People must show up. And of course, me and you will speak.
I have a better venue, my restaurant.
Your restaurant.
Yeah.
You will speak, I'll speak. My senior partner, Scott Picken, will also come. Again, it's going to be a high ticket environment.
Yes.
We are not joking. You want to build wealth, you've got to start investing in yourself. If you're not interested, and by the way, this is not a multi-level kind of thing.
No.
Every family must just do their own thing and grow and learn from each other. Stockfells can put in money and invest. And by the way, this process, these guys have been running this business for 15 years. It's not a yesterday business.
They're partners.
They've done mistakes, they've learned, they've built the most amazing platform. So it's not something that's a trial and error.
So you're just plugging in.
We are plugging in onto them, but we're focusing on the African family. But we have access to the most amazing content from around the world.
Okay. I'm just thinking like a lawyer. What can possibly go wrong? What is the downside? There's no downside?
There's no downside. There's no downside.
Only upside.
Well, upside, remember, each and every one of us have to define what their path is. There is no general definition of a path. You as a family have to decide what does it mean for you.
Yes.
And once you have decided, then we put processes in place to make sure that you have a plan that you follow.
Yeah. There could be a viewer watching this interested in joining the Professional Speakers Association of Southern Africa.
Yeah.
What are the steps involved, and how do the people become part of it? And what are the entry requirements?
So you go to the website, it's psa.southernafrica.co.za. And it's got different levels of membership, associate member and then professional member. Each one of those have got criteria. Now, you can go to the website, it will give you that, but as a professional member, you must be able to earn a minimum of 250,000 from speaking. But now speaking has changed. There's also coaching, there's also facilitation, there's training. So we do, consider people that are trainers, not necessarily because you're speaking while you train. You know. Now people are doing podcasts, people are doing, webinars, people are doing digital training. So we now look at those things, but there's a standard, and you'll see the terms and conditions. There's a code of ethics. It's not because it's a professional, and it's like joining a lawyers association. Yeah, it's exactly that. There are rules to follow. There, because we don't want people to go and embellish their CVs on stage and say they belong to us, and we can't hold them accountable. Yes. So there has to be that accountability and that ethical way of doing business.
Everything has to be backed up.
Everything has to be backed up, and above board, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And the fees? Oh, you wouldn't know.
I'm not offhand. I wouldn't know, but I think it's 3,508 or something like that. But you go to the website, you'll get the fees.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's an annual fee. And we've got 2 conventions per year. We've got one that's called the midterm convention, which is a smaller convention. Then we've got a big one, which is a 3 days convention. Yeah. We just came back from one now. Yeah.
Look, as we get towards the end of our conversation, I want to talk about your philosophy. If you like, we can call them Siliganisms. Yeah. Your ideas about your broad ideas about particular things. So I'm going to mention an aspect or an issue, and then tell me what is your idea about it. Yeah. Let's start with something as simple as marriage. What is your Siliganism on marriage?
I failed. I failed in one. I'm still trying to construct my new my new way of looking ahead of it. But through my failed marriages, I've learned that a marriage has got 3 people in it.
Namely?
It's got the husband, it's got the wife, and it's got the marriage. The husband and the wife might have different ideas, might have different way of doing things. But if they are not willing to depart from their own different ways of doing things and converge in this place called marriage, that marriage will fail.
So what does it take for them to converge?
You know, they say, for a nation to rise, tribes have to die. For a marriage to stick, personalities have to die. You know, you've got to die from your own, now I prefer to do this, now I do things this way, now in this particular way. You've got to die from those things and come to this place in the middle and say, what is it that we want to build?
Wow.
We want to build. Not what I want to do, not what you want to do, but what is it that we want to build? What are the non-negotiables? What are things that we're not going to negotiate in this marriage? And what would be, you know, I say to people, you work for a company that's got a vision, mission, core values. Do you have a vision in your marriage? Do you have core values that guide your marriage? Do you have a mission on how you're going to do this marriage? Do you have a blueprint for your family?
Wow.
And for me, my failure in marriage taught me that I stayed in my own space, my ex-wife stayed in her own space, and we sometimes hope things would work without putting work on it. Marriage is work. It's like a beautiful garden. So if it's not tended into, it dies.
Wow. That's powerful. I've been married for over 3 decades, so I can relate. Now, what are your Selekanisms on poverty?
Poverty is not an illness. Nobody wakes up and say, I'm sick and I'm poor. Poverty, it's a man-made circumstance. It happens in 2 ways. It's either systematic, which means the country creates or takes away opportunities, or it's self-inflicted. Self-inflicted in the sense that I would just say poverty or being poor means you don't produce anything of value that you can exchange for value. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And I say to people, the worst thing that's happened to Africa is religion, because religion says people must pray and fast and whatever. People think they can pray themselves out of poverty. It's not going to happen. You want to get out of poverty, there are 2 routes out of poverty. Either you have a product that you can sell. It does not necessarily have to be your product. Can be somebody else's product. Or you have a service to give. If you don't have a product, you don't have a service, you're going to remain poor. It's as simple as that.
So it's a proven methodology out of poverty.
Absolutely.
And it works all the time.
It works all the time. And let me tell you, you know, selling, we all know selling is the number 1 career on planet Earth. But people look down on selling. By the way, every one of us is selling every morning.
Yeah.
So if you know, I'm saying to somebody, if I get taken now and I get dumped in Cote d'Ivoire, I'm going to find something to sell.
And be good at it. Yeah.
It's as simple as that, because that's it. And unfortunately, again, if you're not willing to develop yourself, you're going to stay at the same place.
Yeah.
Because now here's the thing, Momp, about poverty. I say some people are so poor, all they have is money. You can still have money but still be poor.
Because it's a mindset.
I know a lot of guys with money, but they're very poor. It's a mindset.
Explain that to someone who may not understand.
So, the human behavior dictates your foundation. So if I get into a restaurant and I find Momp sitting little chomza high, when Momp has more money than his friend, is going to be the loudest of his friends. And when Momp has got a very low emotional intelligence, he's going to make everybody know that he's going to pay the bill. That's the man who's so poor, all he has is money. You go to a different table, you find a guy who's a billionaire, becomes the quietest of the group, pays the bill quietly, always wants to learn from other people. That's the difference.
Wow. Selekanisms on health, including business health.
The only thing that you really have is your health. Now, we all go through many ups and downs in life, you know, and then we have health scares, depending on how they come. And I can tell you now, if you look at Cuba has got one of the healthiest people on planet Earth. They are doctors. They do what's called preventative medicine. They teach you how not to get sick, so that you live a longer and happier. Cuba's got people that live longer, you know. And everything else, again, is around your mindset. You don't need to have a 6-pack to be healthy. There are people with 6-pack who drop and die because of some something or the other. But every one of us, you have to go to a doctor or a nutritionist or whatever and understand what the definition of health should be for you. You know, and you don't need to go and join Virgin Active, Cookie CP like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You just have to eat well, sleep well, do movement, because they say health transformation is 80% kitchen, 20% movement. 80% what you eat, 20% how you move. It's as simple as that. And for me, I've gone through quite a few health scare, and I had to change some few habits around my life, which I've changed. And I'm feeling much more healthy. Were they serious? Yeah?
Were they serious?
Not really serious, but not really serious. But when certain things happen, you think, oh my God, I mean, I've always had a bad relationship with weight. I would lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight. Oh my God, I would go through this thing, and But I realized that one of the things that I was not doing well, I was doing those things as events. I want to lose weight, then I'd be focus, and then I drop. But I decided that I needed to do a lifestyle change. And a lifestyle change, don't do things too drastic. Walk for 30 minutes a day. Make sure that you eat particular food. And by the way, your body will tell you immediately when you eat something that it doesn't want. So I've changed what I eat. I've changed what I drink. I'm now also measuring my sleeping, because one of the things that I never did very well for a long time, I guess, is this reading of books. I used to sleep 4, 5 hours, 3 hours. I've done that for a very, very long time. And my doctor used to say to me, listen, boss, you must sleep. Your brain is punishing your body. And eventually your body's going to fight back. And the fight back to me was fatigue. I used to have this. When I was fatigued, you'd think this guy is going to die tomorrow. I would be sick. My body will be aching, And my doctor, he would just say, I'm not going to waste my time with you. I'm booking you in. You go to Balaspetlele. And the instructions are quite simple. They sedate you and they put you the fluids, and that's it. And you must just sleep. And so it happened quite a lot of times. And eventually I decided, one day I'm going to sleep and never wake up. So I decided I have to do everything in moderation.
Yeah. So you worked on the diet.
The food is very important. So I've changed the way the food I'm eating, and I know which food I'm not supposed to be eating. I've changed what I drink. I've gone back to being a water person. I now drink quite a lot of water, and I eat a lot of organic food. So yes. So food, first is the food, and then is the movement.
Wow. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
What are your Selekanisms on mentorship? Do you believe in mentorship, and how does it work?
I 100% believe in mentorship, but everything that I do has to be value driven. So let me give an example. You also get emails like I get. Get an email, hi Mr. Siligan, I'm so and so, I want to start speaking, please mentor me. I don't respond to that email until you send it 10 times. Maybe I'll respond to it. But here's an email that I respond to. Hi Mr. Siligan, I'm so and so. These are my set of skills. I believe I can add value in your organization by doing A, B, C, and D. But in the process, I'd want you to mentor me. Now, this person is saying to me, he or she wants to come and add value and extract value. Then we have a deal. I don't believe people that just have this illusion that they'll show up and be mentored without doing anything in return. I don't believe in that. And that's what we need to teach our young people, that you cannot expect to be given without you giving.
Okay, so nothing for mahala.
Nothing for mahala. I mean, I spend, Mom, it's not a joke, I spend over 5 million traveling the world and learning from people. So
and why can't you spend? Some of them are not even prepared to pay for lunch for you to sit with them.
I mean, really, lunch, you go spare, guy, 250 baht for something. No, so you can't. I mean, people have got an illusion about how things should be happening, and that's it. You've got to show me value, then I'll show you value in return.
All right. Lastly, let's talk about time.
Yeah.
Longevity, time, and the use of time. What are your thinking around that?
Time is a constant. It's never going to change for anybody. 24 hours is 24 hours. And it's not going to give you 5 extra minutes, 7 extra minutes. It is what it is. We just have to learn to manage our activities for maximum return within this given amount of time. And like I said to you earlier on, 24 hours is 1,440 minutes. That's a lot of time. When somebody says they don't have time, I say you don't want to have time. You don't want to create time. You don't take this thing seriously. You're not willing to do it. So
in other words, you're not prioritizing.
You're not, because I'm telling you, you're not. Last 2 years ago, I did this walk called Camino in Spain, Camino de Santiago, and people says, "How are you gonna do it? Blah blah blah. You're busy." I said, "No, I need to do this for myself." So I'll shut down things and do them later, but I'm going to do this. Because it was a priority, because I was going to have a long conversation with God. And I wanted to have this conversation with God without the noise of cell phones, without the noise of television, without the noise of radio. I wanted to walk this path and have a conversation with God. And I did that. And it was the most powerful thing that I've ever did for myself.
What is it about?
So there's a place called Santiago de Compostela, and there's a church there. That church, it said that the bones of St. James, Jesus' brothers, were buried there. So the Roman Catholics, they used to start walking from Rome, the monks, and they'll take that route as a atonement, praying, meditation, up until they got to Santiago. So it has become so popular that you can start in France, you can start in Portugal, and all kind of places. And people use this walk for all kind of reasons. You know what I'm trying to say? So for me, it was a conversation with God, and just being on my own in nature and having this conversation with God, and
it's not a competition. Everybody does it
at
their own pace.
24 hours, 365 days, somebody's walking there. Yeah, and it was like having a conversation. So hey, I'm here. I've gone through stuff. So where are we? What am I doing? What's going to happen? Blah. So it was just amazing. It was very therapeutic. It was just amazing.
So there's a tomb with James.
No, it's in the church. Yeah, it's inside the church in
okay.
the Santiago. Yeah.
Wow. And it turned out to be cathartic.
Yes, I did 132 kilometers in 5 days.
Wow.
Yeah, so I used to walk about 22, 23 kilometers a day with a backpack.
Okay.
It was kind of strange. A friend of mine says, hey, when I'm on you're not a dog, you do things that doggies don't do. Why do you get into a plane? You are humble. You could just walk with us here and go to work.
Yeah, different strokes for different
folks. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, let's talk long-term plans now. If we are thinking decade or two, what plans do you have for the Billy Selekane brand or for Billy Selekane International, talking 2-3 decades down the line?
I'm busy handing it over now to the next generation of leaders to take it forward, because I'm probably going to spend a lot of time with the AfriFem wealth environment. But because we've got so much content and so much methodologies invested there, so it's going to outlive me, quite literally, because like I'm saying, I've got a new generation of leaders that are slowly taking over. And it's going to be around for 1,000 years, literally, without me. Because again, generational thinking, governance towards governance beyond the grave, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So that's what we're doing, because we've built an amazing business. We've done a lot of good work. We've written a lot of amazing content. We've got a lot of case studies. So all of that has to be preserved.
And books as well.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Speaking of books, there was a time you came to us in Botswana teaching us how to write books and encouraging us to write books. Eventually the lesson landed. Yeah, I wrote a book.
That's amazing.
But having said that, how far is that effort going? Are you still helping people, speakers to write?
Yes,
Tell me about that.
Actually, I've launched, which we're going to launch in Botswana. I've launched a public speaking academy called Global Speakers Academy, and it's created to help people understand the speaking business and learn how to speak. We've got 4 levels: silver, gold, diamond, and platinum is the high end of this. It's for professionals that are leaving the professional work and retiring or whatever. We're going to help them to learn how to speak and how to build a business, and ultimately how to get a book out, because most of them, they've got 30, 40 years of amazing knowledge, but it's not documented anywhere.
Yes.
So one of the things that we're doing is doing exactly that, finding top-end people, HR, sales, marketing, processes, ex-MD, ex-CEO, and saying, we want to help you to take all this knowledge and make sure that's available for the next generation. So that's one of the things that...
Tell me how you go about that, and someone listening, what's the first step?
Well, the first step, we'll give you an assessment. We need to know who you are, where you are, and what is your vision, where you're going. And we don't get people to apply for that. We go to people. It's pay invitation kind of a thing. Again, it's about legacy. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And about brand preservation, because this is a big brand. Want to build this into a big brand. Again, this is one of the companies, Momp, which I was intentional when I started it. I'm starting it and getting out as quick as possible. So I've set up all the policies, all the framework. I've written every sentence, every T was me, every I was me. It's now a package is ready, and I'm going to hand it over to a CEO.
So you're exiting?
I'm starting it as quick as I can and exiting as quick as I can.
Why? You've got other things to do.
I've got other things to do, and besides, I'm a good creator. I'm not a good manager. I don't know how to manage things.
Yeah.
I know how to fix things. I know how to start things, but Don't make me manage things. I'll kill people that I
how
manage things.
successful has it been? How many authors?
We've got 2 now on the. Remember, we launched it last year, July.
Yeah.
So we're busy with 2 books at the moment. Yeah, and it's got 2 divisions.
But you came to Botswana quite a while ago.
Oh yes, I've helped a lot of people, man. Countless people. I don't know how many people. A lot of people. Yeah. Another thing, Mom, it's so funny. I'm always so ahead of time. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And look, how long did it take you to write the book?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's been decades that you've been encouraging me. Yeah.
So,
but I felt that I needed to reach a certain level.
I know. And so it's kind of funny. When we spoke earlier on and looked at this production equipment, and I told about something that was going to be the Zoom of the world, just didn't happen because we're just too early. I mean, one of the things that like now, I'm writing a concept. So people in the continent, in the world, they talk about the 4th Industrial Revolution, yes?
Yes.
Japan, 10 years ago, they've launched what's called Society 5.0. I'm writing, I don't think it's a book, it's a paper. I'm writing a paper that's called Business 5.0. And the question that I'm trying to answer, are businesses ready for this new society? And inshallah,
it's projecting how many years ago? Yeah.
Japan have done it 10 years ago. They are still doing it, but it's merging technology and human beings instead of human beings being replaced by technology. It's how we make technology work better with humans to make sure that humans become better humans.
Yes.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So,
inshallah,
it means God willing.
God willing.
Yeah, it's going to be part of my PhD thesis. So I'm doing a PhD. So nobody knows about it. It's the first time I'm announcing it.
Yes.
So I might get it this year or late in the year.
Wow.
But it's going to be the paper that I'm using for my PhD thesis. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you'd be receiving an honorary one.
Well, I've been given the offer of honorary, so I thought, let me gravel a bit for one.
Let's work for one.
Let me work for one. Yeah. I've had a lot of award, and I say with the grace of God. Yeah. But this one I said, you know what? Let me come up with a concept and defend this concept based on research and data and whatever. So, my supervisor saw the paper and says, "Oh my God, this is crazy. You shouldn't be using it as a PhD thesis. You should." He said, "No, I need it to be endorsed as my PhD thesis, so that when I become a doctor, because the doctorate that I'm going for is a doctorate in leadership and management."
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's very, very impressive. Do invite me when
oh yes,
when
no,
you
absolutely,
receive it.
absolutely,
I'll have to come and give you a round of applause.
So you see, 24 hours is a lot of time.
Yes.
Calculate the many things that I'm doing.
A lot.
I mean, there's time. We just have to use it correctly.
And it looks like you're having great fun as well. Yeah.
If it's not fun, why do it?
Yeah.
If it's not fun, why do it?
Now, I want you to conclude our conversation by touching a little bit on Botswana.
Yes.
In terms of what you have been envisaging as the Speakers Association and as Billy Selekane in terms of the synergies and the partnerships you want to put in place for Botswana.
Yeah. So, Botswana is a beautiful place. I just love Botswana is like Saturday. It's like South Africa on Tuesday.
Why? What do you mean? What do you mean?
You guys are so chilled, we can still do this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Send me an email. Sky Tlaganela, kind of
laid back.
And it's good, but it has to change because the world is changing.
Yeah.
But it's good for the fact that there's a lot of integrity in Botswana. Every country's got its own kind of people who take chances, but there are fewer people in Botswana who take chances than there are any other place. Because Botswana is very high on education, real education. People have learned go UK, go Switzerland, go US. So you can't come and pull a fast one in Botswana. You've got a lot of depth. But I think the thing that needs to change in Botswana is the speed, and it shouldn't change too much. Just 5% more, things could happen much quicker.
Yes.
Because it's country small, it's very amazing. You've got one of the most solid financial systems in the continent. The Pula has always been the strongest. There is no currency in the continent that is stronger than the Pula.
Yeah.
That itself tells you something, And in the corruption side, you really, you are in the corruption index. You cannot find Botswana.
Yeah.
Which is very good.
Well, things are changing now, but yes.
I know. I've read some things and I've seen some things and whatever.
Yeah.
So, like I'm saying, Botswana is South Africa on Tuesday. So, what needs to happen in Botswana is people have to understand that the world is not going to be as patient as it was with you. They're going to expect you to wake up, or otherwise, And the fact that you're now opening citizenship, that is going to be a big issue. Because a guy like me is going to think, if I can be a Botswana citizen, I can come then clean out the floor with a lot of people, and I can do it. You know what I'm trying to say? So the comfort zone is coming to an end. And unfortunately, when that happens, people become complacent instead of rising up to the occasion. So I'm saying, in Botswana people, you guys are lovely, you're good, you're educated, you've got everything working, but you need 5% more speed. Because the guys that are going to come in there, they have speed already. So you don't want to end up chasing after yourself. Because we're hard negotiators, we're hardcore business people, we're very quick in making decisions. And if such people show up in Botswana, a lot of the local business will lose out. Because they still have this laid back thing, weekend, I'm doing this. So that has to come to an end. And I think I agreed with your past president. I think also the current president. The abuse of alcohol is quite hectic. It needs to stop a little bit. It needs
to stop completely.
It has to stop. It's like but it's everywhere. In Namibia, South Africa. It's just it goes back to this thing that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. When people are too idle, then they find other things which are not building to do. So that has to change, and has to change drastically. And young people. I mean, you've got the youngest president, one of the youngest in the continent. Young people,
55.
He's younger than me. Amazing, isn't it? So young people in Botswana have to understand that nobody owes them anything. The government doesn't owe them anything. The natural resources in Botswana are there for Botswana, and they must wake up. And they are smart people in Botswana, but they're too relaxed. Sitting in their comfort zone. And they must, like I'm saying, just 5%. Don't kill yourself and try and be in New York overnight. That's gonna burn you out. Just 5% more effort and speed. And I think there's a lot of developmental opportunities in Botswana. We still need to build industries. So Botswana is open for business. But if Botswana don't wake up to the fact that Botswana is open for business, we are coming. And I've been coming to Botswana for how long? Ages.
Couple of days since 2000 and mid 2000.
So I've been coming to Botswana quite a lot. So
you speak there regularly.
And one of the things that used to really kill me about Botswana is the women, the way they say "re." I was like, oh my God, I'm coming back.
They say
re. It's like the most amazing thing that a woman can ever say to a man. You think like, oh my God, I'm still like a king. I'm coming back.
All right. Well, you get to
now. Let's talk to you. Yes, let's talk about it because I've got to ask you.
You get to ask me one question. Yes.
You were a lawyer who was struggling, and suddenly you had an epiphany, and now you've built an enterprise. What was that one thing that lit the fire for you?
First, it was a setback. Really, it was a bunch of colleagues who connived. I talk about it in the book. Connived against me to wipe me out, to get me off the register of lawyers, and they nearly succeeded. And it was that incident or that occurrence that made me wake up and said, I could lose my profession. I have to find alternative sources of income. That's when I threw myself, body, mind, and soul into real estate. And if I go into greater detail, the book is going to bore you. But suffice it to say, that was a cataclysmic event that woke me up.
Wow.
And sometimes I feel like finding a trophy to give it to my colleagues who messed me up. Because if call them
to a party and give them trophies each and say, thank you for waking me up.
Yes, because they were really my Goliath, as it were. I mean, David needed Goliath to be David. So it's similar sort of thinking. So that was the turning point. Around 2000 is when it started. Then I attended every single seminar. Then I went into speaking. Then, that's how you and I met. Every conference, every symposium. Personal development. Went crazy about it. And then also studied real estate and applied it. Since that time in 2000 is when I put the first brick on top of and I resolved then that every single day there'll be a brick going on top of another brick with mortar in between. At the same time, there'll be acquisitions that I'm doing. I'm doing that to this day.
Wow.
And acquiring and developing.
So access to finance was not an issue?
It was originally an issue because I was fearful of debt. And growing up in a religious setting, I feared debt tremendously. So I had to overcome that fear. And then, I got my first mortgage in 2006. I haven't looked back yet since because I made a distinction between good debt and bad debt, and focused on good debt. And by God's grace, we've really been fairly successful. But I still feel as though we're still just getting started.
Yeah, because Botswana has got many opportunities, not only Botswana, but SADC. So if you were to meet a young man from Botswana, and the young man would say to you, what is the one thing that you would say they should change in the next 6 months for them to have a shift in their lives? What would be that one thing?
I think a mindset which needs to be positioned towards personal development, where you just say to yourself, I'm going to stop reading novels, I'm going to cut down on social media, but I'm going to go beast mode on personal development. Every book that is recommended for me, I read it. Find a mentor who has a track record. Don't just choose any mentor. Choose a mentor who has an actual track record, a substantive series of outcomes and results that you can point to. Choose those kinds of mentors and stick with them and listen to them and read and study. Avid readership is because that worked for me, so it has to work for anybody.
It works for me.
Yes.
And the journey continues, absolutely.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That's all the questions you can ask me, but you do have an opportunity to look at that camera there and speak to that viewer and leave them with a powerful message, a powerful, inspirational message that sort of summarizes our conversation.
You know, one of the deep questions that I ask people, I usually say to them, what one thing would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? What one thing would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? Just think about it. Just think about it for a minute and just write it down. And now I'm saying to you, the distance between that one thing that you know you want to do, and today, is your mindset. When we change our thought processes, it changes our words. When we change our words, it changes the way that we do things. When we change the way we do things, we build a new set of habits. Great habits build us a great character. And your character that is changed and transformed is the one thing that's going to make a difference and take you to your destination. I hope that you'll begin to look at yourself differently today and know this one profound truth, that everybody can become successful. The question is, what are you willing to do to make it happen? Thank you.
Wonderful. Now, can you share all your contact details, physical addresses, social media,
physical address,
everywhere?
I can see people coming with buses in my house. My social media, on Facebook, I'm Billy Selekane. On LinkedIn is Billy Selekane. On Instagram is Billy Selekane _speaks. Like I said earlier on, I'm a little bit TikTok shy, and everyone says, you got to do TikTok. Probably I'll have TikTok in the next whatever. But yeah, those are my details. And if you want to send me an email, you can send me an email at info@billyselekane.com. info@billyselekane.com. Now, when you send me an email, please think it through first before you write it and send it, because I want to be able to get substantive email that I can answer to substantively to. Don't just send me an email that says, hi, Mr. Siligan, I saw you speaking. I just want to say, I want you to mentor me. I'm not going to respond to that email. Sit down and think about it and ask me questions that I can help you to find solutions to, but think them through, then send an email. I'd rather spend time answering a 2-pager email than spend time answering a 2-sentence email. So think it through and put good content into it. And I promise you, the longest flight is 18 hours. So I will answer your email within 24 hours. That I promise.
Do you have a WhatsApp maybe for your
WhatsApp? No.
PA or something?
No. Well, the info email is the entry email to my world. Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
It remains for me to now officially thank you, sir,
Yep.
for giving so generously, for sharing your story, for being so open with us. It's always been a dream of mine to interview you. I once tried, but unfortunately, the young man who shot us, I won't mention his name, deleted the entire footage. But now we have a professional. We have Morgan here who's doing all this. And thank you so much. You did a great job. And I appreciate you, my friend. And I do hope that our partnership in Botswana takes off.
Absolutely.
In Botswana and South Africa.
In South Africa. Thank you very much, Mom, for taking time to bringing me in. You know, I know you could have invited Les Brown and send your jet to go and fetch him. And you invited me, a guy from Tembisa, and that I don't take very lightly. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, my friend.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Okay.